So if you're here, you are interested in learning how to install an AC on top of a van.
Oh,
it's not supposed to come from there.
no.
That is not supposed to look like that. Hey guys!
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, so welcome back to our channel. I'm Tenaj.
And I'm Faustino.
So today what we'll be doing is we'll be installing our Recpro AC on top of the roof. Our friends over at Recpro sent us over this amazing unit. It's 100 pounds.
Now, it does belong in an RV, but we have seen people install them in vans. They just haven't installed this model. So we'll actually be creating the first video on the Recpro 3400. So I guess it's time to get started.
It's almost time to get started. Yeah. We should say, guys, that we are not professionals by any means. So what we're doing is it's working for us, and we hope that you can take some of these tips and use them in your own build. But I guess it's now time to get started. Deuces!
So the first thing we're going to do is going to create a mounting bracket to basically support the air conditioning. And we're actually going to put it like right here. I don't know if you can see that. And then we got to cut basically between these two ribs. It's about 19.5 inches. And then we're going to cut 32 inch in length, supporting the frame right quick from this, I think this is a 1/2 inch plywood.
Okay, so now that Faustino has measured everything up, I'm gonna start cutting. Whew. Okay, so now that we have that part taken care of, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come inside the van and I'm gonna show you guys where we're putting it. So as you can see, we already have the space marked off where we're gonna do the cutting. It's a 14 by 14 cutting. It's the exact same cutting as the Max Air fan. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to basically reinforce the roof so that it can be strong enough to hold that 99-pound AC that we're gonna put on top. Okay, now that we got that taken care of, guys, what we're gonna do is we are gonna use the same template that we use for the Max Air fan, and we're gonna use that to make the template for the AC.
So right now I'm going to drill a pilot hole into our frame so that way we can get started with the jigsaw.
So we just got the wood that we'll be using for the mounting of the AC.
And now we're going to go basically put on some liquid nails on one side and we're going to mount it to the top and let it dry.
And then we are going to pick this up in the morning because we are losing sunlight and it's not the best time to cut a hole in a van.
No.
So guys, we're gonna get to this and then we'll see you tomorrow. Deuces.
Morning, guys.
Good morning, good morning. So what we wanted to do was basically give you guys a quick recap of what we did on yesterday. After returning from Home Depot, Faustino and I did a little measuring. We measured out the 14 by 14 square on top of the roof, and then we also measured out a 14 by 14 square inside of the plywood that we bought. After we did the cutting, we actually applied some adhesive to the ceiling. And now since we took the supporting beams down, it's still there. So I think that we put a whole tube of adhesive to good use. Now what we're going to do is we are going to cut these to size, only to kind of support the frame that we just made. Okay, so I want it to be so tight that it barely is able to get in here.
So the first one we're cutting between the two ribs is 22 inches. We're gonna cut one at a time to make sure that the first one's cut right before we cut the second one.
And there you have it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna take this inside and we're gonna measure it. We're gonna put it back on the roof and see if it fits in the designated hole. Okay, come on. No way. Okay, so what happened, you guys, was not fitting where we measured. So what we're gonna do is just cut a little bit more off. The piece that I just cut off is so small, so minute, but hopefully it makes a difference. Okay, so hopefully we have a winner. Let's see.
That's a good fit?
This is a good fit. This is definitely a good fit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this one and we're gonna use this one as a template to cut the other one.
Okay.
Good to go! Yay! Okay, so
let's duplicate that cut.
Let's do this. Got it. Now let's hope that these two are the same. They practically look the same, so we're just gonna roll with it. Deuces. Okay, so these are going to be placed on either side, on both sides. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these 4 screws and drill them into the bracing that we just made for the ceiling.
We just put in these other supporting structures. So now we got basically a double good support right there. And I think now is the time to cut the hole.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill maybe 4 pilot holes on each corner of the square that we created on the roof, and then we'll put a template over those holes and then just make a draw out once we get up there. So now what we're doing is we are about to create 4 pilot holes, 1 in each corner, and that's basically going to allow us to know exactly where our cutout should be. Okay, so Faustino just made the 4 pilot holes. What we're doing now is just placing blue tape around the square that we just made. Basically the same exact thing that we did for the Max Air fans. We're doing it here for the AC unit. So what I'll do is I'll measure it again before I cut. This one is 14, so let's go. So Faustino's gonna go downstairs and get the blower. I'm not sure if you can see it because of the shadow that's on the roof, but there's a lot of metal scrap that was left over from our cut. Right now we're gonna try and be proactive and try and get this off before it gets a chance to rust. Well, you guys, it seems as if we are losing daylight, so what we're gonna do is we are going to wrap things up.
So we were able to cut the hole out. We cut a little bit short, so we ended up cutting a little bit more, and like Tenaj said, we ran out of daylight, and you're probably wondering, how long is this gonna take? It could probably be done in a day, but we're not professionals. We're making sure that we do this right, especially when we're cutting out a hole. It's a little nerve-wracking. The wood frame that we glued up, it fell. So we're definitely going to get back on trying to get that back up there.
Hey guys!
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, so before we get started, I wanted to give a huge shout out to our friends over at Recpro for providing us with our rooftop AC unit.
All right, so if you're interested in any RV products or converting your Sprinter van, make sure you give them a check out.
Yes, make sure you give them a check out.
At recpro.com.
Today what we're going to be doing is basically finishing up on the installation of the AC itself. So when we left off yesterday, Faustino and I had just finished cutting a hole.
We're also, if you can also remember that our supporting mount fell down. We feel we didn't put enough liquid nails to support it, to hold it in place. And we also didn't support the beams with it. So we're gonna definitely put some liquid nails around the sides of it, not just to the roof.
So I'm gonna go to the top of the van and then I'll file down the rough edges from the hole that we made yesterday and put some Rust-Oleum around the edges. So what he's doing now is he's gonna bring up everything that I might need. What I've decided to do is go ahead and take the blue masking tape off so that I can begin to file down the hole that we made. That sound though? It's like nails on a chalkboard.
About to perform surgery?
I am actually. You didn't see I cut my patient open?
Oh Lord!
Thank you.
So what are you doing?
What I'm doing is I'm putting Rust-Oleum on all of the exposed metal. You want to make sure that when you cut your van, you definitely have Rust-Oleum on hand because it definitely comes in handy. Okay, so now that I have all of my Rust-Oleum down, what I'm doing now is I'm applying the butyl tape. So now we'll just try to kind of see how this fits on it. And this piece says this side up, so this is the side that's going to be facing the sky. Right now we're just adding a little bit more butyl tape to kind of make the perimeter just a little bit thicker. We build it up and make it a little bit thicker, then we'll be okay. Okay, so we just finished installing the butyl tape. So what we're trying to do with the butyl tape is to kind of level it off. You see this rip right here? Well, what we want to do is create a barrier that's the same height as this rib so that when we do put the unit on, it'll lay flush. So what we're about to do now, since we just placed the butyl tape, is we are going to do maybe a dry run of some sort, and we're going to take the bracing that we made, place it here. Now we do have our C-clamps, so hopefully this time it'll stick. We also went out and bought some more liquid nails because if you can see, this didn't stick too well. Let's go, sir. Yesterday we left you off when we were applying butyl tape to the ceiling. Well, what happened was, off camera we also applied the framing that's going to support the AC in the interior of the van. I mean, everything goes into its designated position.
I'm applying a little silicone to seal the inside of it because we've already sealed the outside. So it shouldn't be much. It actually isn't much to seal off. There's some spots we gotta hit up. Now the instructions say don't get any of the sealant in the bolt holes because it won't seal correctly. So make sure you just do the edges around it.
So here's the finished result, you guys. It may look like we went a little overboard. I completely understand, but we wanted to make sure that it was sealed beyond leakage. Yeah, we don't need any water to get inside there.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on blinking, she freeze. Photo, please, no photos. No. Jeez, no.
Somebody's gotta go down. You gotta go down now.
I mean, you go down.
Okay. You got it?
New deal to my lawyer.
Yo! You gotta let me know what you're doing before you do it.
Lined up.
Broke my phone.
I broke the phone.
Yeah. There's that, folks. The unit is in. My screen is cracked. I don't know, my foot hit the screen when I... Okay, so this is what came with the unit. The screw, the bolt, the washer, and what would you call this?
Probably like a bracket.
And this. So after that, I think we should be done, right?
So the book recommends not to put any caulk or sealant in the threads because it might have a sealant problem. And we didn't do that, but by mistake, some of the butyl tape touched the thread going into the hole, so now it's pretty sticky and it's kind of having a hard time. You definitely don't want to use a drill. It'll probably be a little bit too much power, and you don't want to torque it down by mistake. Definitely just go ahead and go by hand.
After 3 days,
3 long, slow, tedious days.
countless hours, and multiple disagreements,
Yes.
we finally got the AC installed.
If we treat it just like a max air fan, then everything will be okay. I think maybe we probably put a little bit more on ourselves because it just seemed complicated, but it's literally just the same as a max air fan.
That's what I've been saying the entire time. It's the exact same as the max air fan, down to the exact same cutout in the roof. It's a 14 by 14, so it's the same thing. Recpro, we want to thank you guys again for sending us over this AC unit. It's actually a Bel Air 3400.
Right.
It's a low profile, so it doesn't sit that high off of the van. I'm just excited. I'm excited about taking it to the car wash, and I'm also excited about moving on to our next project.
Right, which is we'll be doing the passenger side windows.
No, we're gonna do the driver's side window.
Oh, the driver's side window.
Yeah, so we're gonna do the driver's side window, guys, and hopefully we can treat this the same way that we did the bunk windows, and it won't be too gruesome.
Right.
Deuces!